Oh, hey everybody, it's Paul. How you doing? I'm parked in the shade, and we're going to take a run through the news. We're going to go through the markets first, and geez, I'm really sorry that I got to come across so much as a bummer to everybody, but there is, you just see the door closing on our freedoms more and more every day. And there are some days where it's undeniably disturbing. You know what I mean? And it really hurts. And that's kind of the way I felt this morning when I did my last video, and I'm chewing everybody out because most of you don't understand how serious it is and how quickly the unthinkable is becoming thinkable. That's the problem. The unthinkable is becoming thinkable. 2 years ago, what was unthinkable, like having nationwide something, that would not be tolerated. But with the proper conditioning, and I knew, folks, I knew we were in a lot of trouble because once I saw people that were in their 50s and in their 60s, and like some Americans too, not just minority, but Americans, when I saw them walking their dogs in 35 degree winds blowing all over the place, walking their dogs with face shields on their face, I knew that it was over. I knew that we were going to have a fait accompli. That's what was going to happen. And I began to become very worried about things. And there was ample concern, reason to have that concern. Ample. It was just the perfect thing to create havoc like a wrecking ball within families, because a lot of you people aren't bright enough to really understand where this is going. As a matter of fact, I'm not even going to do the news. You're going to get a lecture. A lot of you aren't bright enough to understand. I'm sorry to tell you that. I'm not a genius. I mean, I've only been a lawn cutter for my life, mostly. But I played chess when I was young. I watched shows on TV that kind of made you think, that dealt with things like this. I've watched professional football, which is the basics of how we won World War II and every other war practically. So a lot of you are not savvy, and you don't understand, and you think you understand, and you don't. The unthinkable is now thinkable. And you keep believing. You keep believing. And when we try to warn you about this, it's just met with, no concern. And it makes it worse when we have uncontrolled people who come here that are not invited, because it dumbs down the masses, because they're not coming here because they're smarter and they're here to teach us things. That's not the way it works. And I'm not going to say it. You're going to hear. I'm going to be very careful about this. They do not come here because they are smarter than us and they want to teach us something. Do you understand? I'm not saying any more. That's only one part of the puzzle. It's so frustrating because there's nothing I can do. And when you try to show people this, they don't understand because they're not bright. They're not bright. They think they're very, very bright. That's the only thing that I agreed with that Z-Dog, ZZ Dog or Z-Dog that that masquerading married, and I don't know what the situation is of his marriage either. From what I'm picking up, there's a great deal of concern on my part that he's not married in a traditional sense. I can't see it. Not by the way he's coming across. I can't see it. It's none of my business. But the only thing I agree with him on is that people think that they're real smart and they're not smart at all. And when you ask them later in these studies, the lower people, the people that didn't do so well, they very much insist that they're at the top of the game. So with that, I agree with him on. Other than that, I don't agree too much with him. It disturbs me deeply because they keep throwing things at us that they know you're not going to pick up on because you're mindless idiots. And it's up to us, the superior ones. It's up to us to inform you. But you see, you can't take that advice from me because you think you're superior than me, and you are not. And it is not within your genetic makeup to be subservient to somebody who you think isn't smarter. You understand? This is very disturbing. I know it's very disturbing for most of you. You think you're real smart. So let me ask you geniuses something. When you go onto the platform that we're on, why is it that you don't see any other opinion except for what's put forth? And it's put forth ad nauseum. I could show you right now, and we're not going to go there. Why is it that they have video after video after video after video, all covering all the bases? Remember Beavis and Butthead? Remember that cartoon? Remember they go into the recruiter? And the recruiter is an older man, you can tell. He's an older man, and he figures out Beavis and Butthead real quick, and he pulls out the tape for juvenile delinquents. You understand? That's the tape that he took, and he said, we kill a lot of people by 9 o'clock in the morning, you know? Because he knew that was the one that you showed juvenile delinquents to go into the Army. Now, if it was, a kid that was into first aid and he was into, other things that were like meaningful and stuff, he'd have a different videotape for that. They're covering all the bases, just like that Beavis and Butthead episode with the Army recruiter trying to recruit Beavis and Butthead. They have one for every thing. I'm not going to say anymore because I don't want to be accused of anything, okay? But this, that's all covered. Now, will there be any differing points of view? No. No, there won't. It's all going to be focused into a narrow beam. And here's what's so scary for you mindless idiots. It's not scary for you as a mindless idiot, but it's scary for us, the superior ones, because we know what's coming and what's happening. You understand? So for you, it's mindless. You don't care. Ignorance is bliss. The more control that they have, the worse it's going to get. The more that they deny people the right to err. Folks, you can go on a search platform which shall remain nameless, and you can go and try to pull up doctors that don't blank, don't agree with blank. You know what you'll find? Virtually nothing. I know because I've done it the last few days. You're not going to find anything. You understand? You know why? because they know that your eyes are shut and that you're in a comfortably dreaming state of ignorance, and you don't care. You're not putting it together. You understand? To you, it's unifying to have a powerful overseer which pushes you into one direction. Folks, this is exactly as was happening in the early 30s to mid 30s. This started getting ahead of steam by 36. Because a lot of you mindless idiots, and I'm sorry I have to say this to you because I know you're going to get mad at me. I don't care. I'm superior to you. You don't believe it. But the ones that know that I'm superior, you're going to subscribe to that channel, to this channel, because you're going to want to hear. And you're going to become superior also. What is the big takeaway from having platforms completely dominated by one side? What's the big takeaway? And that's what's happening, by the way. You may not want to admit it, but you go talk to anyone that wants to put an opposing point of view, and you're going to find out what happened to my channel, which is why I have 2 subscribers and 2 really decent people. The third, I don't know what happened to that third person. I don't know. But I know who the 2 are. And they're quality people. Here is the big takeaway for you mindless idiots. You are not bright enough yet to understand that in World War II, you could be with the cause in a certain country that became very powerful. And the people who were in basic agreement oftentimes became prisoner of the country itself, the cause, because they did not agree enough. Do you understand that, mindless idiots? Now you're smart like me. You understand? Just hearing those words makes you smart. So wait a minute. Are you trying to say that people basically supported that, but they didn't support every single thing, and therefore, like, they were incarcerated too? That's exactly what I was saying. That's exactly what I am saying. You mindless idiots don't understand that because you're not smart like us. The smart ones. The ones that know history. Or basics of history. There were plenty of people that wound up going into structured living. Let's just put it to you that way. That were basically with the cause, but they weren't with the cause enough. And that's where a lot of you fail. Because this is going to get to a point where at some point, you're not going to be down with the cause to that effect. And it's going to be too late. And you're going to say, wait a minute. Yeah, but look, I mean, my job depends on this, and we don't need that. Too fucking bad. Too fucking bad. That's your problem, asshole. That's your problem. You understand? You don't like the fact that they need to take anal screening? And you don't like things going up your anus? Well, it's the most accurate. How's that? Hypothetically. You don't like it? I don't care whether you like it or not. You're mindless idiots and you deserve that. That's what they've been doing in parts of China. You don't believe me? Look it up. You want to see? Because most of you think I'm full of shit, right? You want to see? You want to see what they were doing to people, including the diplomats, by the way, in China? See, you didn't hear about this, did you? No, you didn't hear about that, right? Because you're a mindless douche. And you're believing what they want to put out for you so that you believe it. So let's take a look at this, okay? And I'm going to look it up right for you so that you can see what you've been dealing with. Japanese complain of anal screening at China airports. Want me to read it to you? I don't know if you can see that on there. It says, and it says the word here, we won't go into it, but it says Japan asks China to stop anal tests on its citizens. I don't know if you can see that. You probably don't believe me because you're mindless idiots and you're believing what's being spoon-fed to you. Now, you never heard this story, okay? Now, if you were with my other channel that got terminated, you would have known about this. Why? Because I'm not a mindless idiot like you and I am superior to you. Why? Because I know history and I don't spend my time grooving to Jay-Z or whatever. Not that I don't like Jay-Z or Beyonce or Justin Bieber or whatever else, but it ain't going to do you much good when it comes to serious times when you're really getting into the soup. It ain't going to help you. You understand, folks? And it's not just them. It's other stuff too. What were they doing? Well, I'll read it to you. Japan asked China to stop anal testing of the COVID-19. I'll read it to you, okay? Again, you have to be on board with this, stupid idiots. You have to be on board. Now, if you're not on board with this, you think that this could be done some other way. That's exactly what happened in Nazi Germany. You understand, mindless idiots? No, you're a stupid fucking moronic idiot because you don't know history. You understand? I do. That's why I'm superior to you because you're mindless douchebags. Do you understand now? You don't agree with the anal testing? Fuck you. It's the most accurate and you will do it. And if you don't, then you may find yourself on the wrong side. You got it, chum? You fucking mindless idiots! Now, let's read on this because I know that the diplomats since January of this year, they've been seriously complaining about this, not minorly complaining. They put it almost 8 centimeters up the people's rear end. Up to 8.8 centimeters is what I heard, which is something like almost 2.5 inches, 3 inches. Not a big deal, right? You're mindless idiots. You have to understand that's not a big deal. It's not going to kill you. You understand, mindless idiots? COVID-19, semicolon. Japan asked China to stop anal tests on its citizens. Japan has asked China to stop taking anal swab tests for COVID-19 on its citizens when they enter the country, including, by the way, the diplomats. They did not get a pass. Some have complained that the procedure caused them, quote, psychological distress. You're mindless idiots. What kind of psychological stress could that cause? Huh? What's wrong with that? You go and you spread your cheeks and they jam it up there and you don't give 2 shits. Right, mindless idiots? It's so embarrassing. I feel like I'm talking to 3-year-old, 4-year-old children. Because most of you aren't even that smart. There are some kids that are 5, 6, 7 years old who are actually figuring this out. All right, it says that some of the Japanese ambassadors reported in the embassy that they received anal swab tests which caused great psychological pain. By the way, that's not just psychological. Some of the people, I watched some of the videos and they were walking funny, and I'm not making that up or making a joke in the least. It's invasive and it hurts some people. Okay? Not the kind of hurt. Oh my God, the hurt. But real hurt. You understand? We are done. If you are brave and you want to smarten up, you hit that subscribe button. Otherwise, we are out. Goodbye.